Every so often you'll have a match that's decided by how well the players can manage their supplies. And this set is a very good example of that. There's no super efficient attackers and lots of amazing defensive units. So if you're around evenly matched with your opponent, it'll be the small details that matter the most. An important goal to set here is to run out of most of your defensive supplies at the same time, to avoid being underdefended prematurely. With Centurion in the set, both players should have 2 Blast Forges, an Animus, and at least 2 Conduits in the mid-game. So if you were to completely rely on walls, infusion grids, and engineers for defense, and invest all of your green and red into attackers, you'd quickly run out of blue defense, and after that, 1 Aegis per turn shouldn't be enough to defend. You'd be forced to build more tech buildings in the late game, like 3 more conduits for more Aegises and force fields, which is 12 gold you wouldn't have to waste if you balanced your defense purchases earlier in the match. So let's say you've bought 4 Aegises and none of the blue defenses. In this case you should always prefer to buy walls and infusions, along with Mahar for attack, instead of Aegis for defense along with splitters. There are exceptions though. This set's attackers don't have a big difference in their efficiency, but if this set had something really efficient like Tantalum Ray, you'd probably favor buying those with green and using blue for defense. Because if you did that and your opponent did not, then the extra attack efficiency would start snowballing, and you'd be strongly ahead by the time the defensive supplies become a problem later on. If we take a look at the state of the match around the time it ended, Lightning is having a lot of trouble defending because he ran out of the blue defense early. When we compare supplies, I've bought 3 more splitters, 9 more husks, I'm a turn and a half ahead in Aegis purchases, and I got 4 wild drones that died early on instead of some of my defense. He's bought more rhinos, but that's actually another part of why he lost, because he started buying them before they were really necessary. Those rhinos would have been better as permanent attackers, and Aegis for the defense they generated. Lightning was slightly down in attack near the end of the match, but if we were even, this match would have been completely decided by how well we managed our supplies. Here's a set where Dynamo and Gauss Fabricator are setting us both up to be ramping our attack very fast in the mid-game. I have an interesting decision to make about whether I should be attacking or defending with my chieftain immediately after I buy it. Defending with my chieftain allows me to buy another chieftain, and the alternative is attacking and buying another wall and some barriers. Attacking with chieftain is slightly more efficient in a vacuum, but affects you differently later in the game. If we go for the chieftain holding plan every turn, we get away with buying chieftain and a wall at the same rate every turn for at least 5 turns. If we go for the chieftain attacks, we're stuck buying 2 walls every turn for at least every turn that my chieftain attacks, which puts me down to 5 wall supply and 9 chieftains in supply at the end of my first chieftain's lifespan. Near the end of the game, when we both have a huge amount of attack and defending becomes difficult, prompt defense like wall and barrier becomes much more valuable, because at that point, buying chieftains is no longer an option. So if we burn through our wall supply early, we're more likely to lose from running out of prompt defense. In this match, we're both on the verge of getting breached and running out of wall supply. My initial instinct was to defend with 2 walls and a pact on turn 16, and I think many other players would do this as well, because Blood Pact is generally regarded as much less efficient than a wall. However, I thought of a cool way to make my defense easier next turn. If I buy these 2 walls, I run out of supply, and I still have plenty of Blood Pacts in supply. So if I cancel a wall here and build a Blood Pact and Engie instead, I can then buy 2 Blood Pacts and a wall next turn instead of just 2 Blood Pacts, ending up with 4 extra defense on turn 17, making the technically less efficient play on turn 16 ending up being far superior.